Simplified Chaos, episode 45.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey, wonderful friends. Welcome to another episode of Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, and I'm with my co-host and husband, and you're very handsome, Nicholas.
Thank you. What's going on, folks? How's everyone doing today? We're happy that you can join us again for another awesome episode of Simplified Chaos. Jilly, what are we talking about today?
Today's topic is how we are intentional with our calendar and just how our whole mindset and how we plan our monthly calendar has changed. And I'm excited to dive into that, to just talk more about our values and how we make sure it aligns with that.
Yeah, we've gone through some changes with our calendar and we can't wait to share that with you guys.
Yep.
But before we dive into that, let's show a little gratitude, Jilly. What are you grateful for today?
Today, I am grateful for your mama.
My mama?
Yes.
Oh, yeah? What'd my mama do?
So we're recording this on Halloween, and Lucille wore a vintage costume.
Very vintage, circa 1983.
Handmade by your mom that you wore. So it's pretty special knowing that the costume she wore tonight, you wore when you were little.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute.
It
went
cute.
Full circle.
Yeah. Nah, she rocked that costume probably much better than I did.
She put a little bit more female spunk into it, but
yeah.
I'm sure you were just as cute.
We'll see about that. I'll have to see if Mom can bring up some of those pictures or whatever. But yeah, no, thank you, Mom. She really enjoyed it, dragging that tail around and everything like that. So
I know.
It was very cute.
What about you? What are you grateful for?
The weather. Yeah, we are about to get some torrential downpours. Maybe during this podcast, maybe not. We hopefully will finish before the crazy thunderstorms are about to go through. But it had been raining on and off all day today, and we had just enough of a clearing so that we can enjoy this evening and take Lucille out for her first Halloween. So I'm grateful that the weather held out, and now it can thunderstorm all at once. And then tomorrow it'll be 20 degrees.
Yeah.
In the morning.
It was
Not all day, but in the morning.
I love thunderstorms, so
yeah, I do too.
Bring it on.
Yeah, hopefully no tornadoes with this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would not be fun.
No. Then I'd be ungrateful for the weather.
Jeez.
All right, Jilly. So let's talk calendars.
Yes. So this is a topic I've been wanting to cover for a while, and I think we've really done full circle when it comes to how we plan our calendar and what it looks like now.
Yeah.
I think before it was very full, and we already work full-time jobs. So you can imagine, every weekend there was something going on. We rarely said no to things. I think we were the type of people, at least I was, that if someone invited me somewhere, I normally would say yes.
Just put it on the calendar.
Even if it was something I wasn't that excited about, I was like, I guess I'm not doing anything, so why not? And now I just look at how we spend our time so much differently. And I think we are a lot more intentional, making sure that we do feel in our gut that it's a hell yes, and that it aligns directly with what we value, which is it going to make us feel healthy? Is it going to give us a really cool experience? Is it something that we can do as a family? And I think that ever since we knew and narrowed down what we truly value, it makes it that much easier to say no thank you to things and to really, I guess, not feel guilty of saying no, because I think saying no to things means that you can say yes to exactly what you want instead of just settling. And I'm tired of settling.
Yeah, we don't need to settle. And saying no isn't a bad thing. And the other thing is you don't feel like you owe an explanation either. You just politely say no and thank you for the offer, but can't do it this time. You don't need an explanation. We're not in high school anymore and saying, hey, I can't do this because I'm not feeling well because you're really hanging out with somebody else or whatever. We say, unfortunately, we can't make it to this event. So, thank you for inviting us out. We'll try to catch up with you on the next one.
And it's funny. I think sometimes I'll say, like when someone asks me, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything. But I actually like that I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. No, you do need those kinds of weekends.
For me, it doesn't mean that I want to fill it. It means I'm I have nothing on my calendar, and I'm pretty damn excited about that.
Yeah, no, those are some great weekends, because then we get to be creative and try to fill our day with something interesting, whether it's taking Lucille to the park and hanging out, or finding an adventure to do, or if somebody does ask us to hang out last minute, and it's like, what, we've had a pretty chill day today, so we can go ahead and do something. Like, it kind of leaves us open for whatever it is that we want to do.
Yeah, and I heard this quote recently in regards to a calendar and just simplifying, and it really spoke to me. It said, your calendar can either transform you into the person you hate, or it can transform you into the person you love. Because based on what you're doing, it's molding you into who you're going to be.
Yeah.
If you think about it. So if you're spending your time doing things you're not excited about, you're probably going to be stagnant and feel stuck and not grow and not be happier. But if you are filling it with things that are going to help you become a better version of you, ultimately you're going to love yourself a lot more, because you're growing and you're feeling great and you're doing things that align to what you value. So that kind of spoke to me when you actually look at your calendar and look at a monthly view. Like, what is it filled with? Is it filled with things that are going to help you grow and make you happy? Or is it filled with things that aren't making you enthusiastic and are making you feel stuck and aren't helping you become the person you want to be? Because I feel like we think we don't have the power, but we can absolutely choose what we want on our calendar and what we don't.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of it is being mindful that, I like the idea of the month view. Like, that's a great thing. And you can see that, oh my goodness, I have 5 weekends in a row lined up with things. Maybe I need to cancel something and have some time for myself, or have some time to recharge. And, this what we're talking about is like things that work for us and what we value. Now, there are some people who love having their calendars filled, who love, being out every weekend amongst people. And, that's, we realize at this point in our life, that's not for us. That was for us. That's when we were accepting event after event. It's like, yeah, we're going to be out with people. But now, we now have Lucille, and there's some other priorities. And so having that month view and really seeing, where we're filling the calendar, gives us a good perspective on when we need to take a break.
And I don't even know if I liked that our calendar was full. I just think I was just a lot less conscious of what I said yes to. And now I feel like, because we're questioning everything, I mean, I feel like I'm always the type of person who likes space, but I think I didn't think I had the power to create as much space as we have now.
Right. And
now that I'm more confident in the direction that we're heading and what we value, I feel like it's a lot easier to say no to things. But I realized I think our calendar was more about things that we wanted to get done. It was kind of like a to-do list in a way. Like, yeah, we did that. And I want my calendar to be less about, oh, man, I'm really stuttering today. I want my calendar to be less.
It's a long day at work.
I know. I want my calendar to be less of a to-do list and more of how it's going to help me, more of who I want to become. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So less a to-do list and more of the person I want to become. So everything that I'm picking is intentionally helping me grow a little bit into the person that I want to be. Does that make sense?
No, I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
You paint when I'm priming?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm stuttering so much.
That's all good.
Man, it's the Halloween spirit in the air.
No cocktails tonight.
I know, and I'm not even maybe it's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not flowing as easy. I know.
It's all good, baby. You're doing good.
It's just the water today.
Oh, man. I'm a little parched myself. But no, I definitely feel what you're saying. Like, you don't want it to be something that you're either checking something off a list or just a to-do list. You want it to have a purpose and be meaningful, and you value, like you said, you value time to yourself, time with the family. And so that being one of the things that you value, you want to have those gaps in your calendar.
Yes.
Got it.
Do you not like having space in the calendar?
No, I do like having space in the calendar. I think when it comes to hanging out with certain people and whatnot, that, I'm more open to. I feel like with my close friends, I'm more open to saying yes than to somebody who I might not be as close with. Unless, we have some friends who are in town from Oregon right now. And of course, if they want to hang out with us, our calendar, our house is open to them, because we get to see them maybe once every 2 years. Like, the last time we saw them was before Lucille was born. So we have a lot to catch up on. So I think it really also depends on, who it is. When's like the last time we hung out with them? Are they in the area? Like, there's a lot of things that I'll keep open.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're very flexible when it comes to that. Like, I think we have a pretty good rhythm with our calendar now and how we decide what to put on there and what not to put on there. But we are absolutely open. Like, hey, this week may be a little bit more hectic than usual because of these circumstances. And yes, we are a lot more open to making space for those moments where it's like, this is a once in a year thing. Like, let's do it. It may be a little bit busier than it normally is, but we'll make the sacrifice because these are people that we love and we enjoy hanging out with. So
yeah. And I'll kind of give an example of how we've tried to keep our calendars clear. Is like this weekend we have a situation. Well, I don't want to call it a situation, but we have some friends who don't live close to us anymore, but they're within driving distance, and we were looking to possibly go visit their house this weekend. I haven't heard from them at all this week, so I'm not even sure if that's a thing at this point anymore. But then we also have a friend in town from Copenhagen, and we were all talking about doing a board game night on Saturday night. So it would have been a lot of driving for us. And so for me, I'm kind of happy that, we're probably not going to go to our friend who's close, but we can always reschedule that, and that can happen in a weekend either before the year or right around the new year. It's like, it's not a big deal, but like our friend who's in town from Copenhagen, who's only in town for 2 days, it's like, okay, we're going to make that a priority because we may not get to see this person for quite a while.
And we hate that person. I don't even know why we're going to go see him. Sarcasm. I'm joking.
You're talking about Copenhagen?
I'm talking about Danny.
That's what I talked about. Okay, I was confused.
But so I wanted to also talk about, I guess, a tool that I've been using that's been helping me a lot for the past 2 months.
You're a tool.
Thanks so much for that. I am definitely someone who likes to see an aerial view of what my month looks like. I think I function and I just feel healthier about how I spend my time, and I'm just more in the know about what my month looks like. Again, what our calendar is filled with, I think is what makes us into the person we're becoming. So I want my calendar filled with everything I value. So I do this thing with the calendar that we have in our kitchen.
Yep.
It's by month, and I put this little key that's like a symbol, like the star symbol equals every time we hang out with like good friends or family. Mm-hmm. So like good people. So I put a star on the day if like we're hanging out with good friends or good people because I value time with people we love. And then I have like a circle for experiences because I know we value traveling and just doing new things. So if we are doing something like that, I put a star. So it's very obvious where those are on the calendar. And then I have like a heart for self-care, or other known as health. So anything that's making me just re-energized, allowing me to rest, recuperate, whatever you want to call it, then I put a heart symbol. Like if we talk about this in our self-care episode, like getting haircuts or acupuncture or
grabbing a latte
and a coffee date. So by doing that, I have this amazing visual of what the balance is, because I know Monday through Friday it's work. And I'm working on this. I find that most of the time my symbols for the activities that I planned are only on the weekends. And I'm trying to be more intentional about putting more in during the week because I don't want to use the excuse, it's the work week, I can't do it. But you know what? I have been putting acupuncture during the week.
Right.
I have haircuts during the week. But I thought it was really cool how our last episode, we decided to take a trip together, and it was on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And I think I want to be more intentional, and not every month, but just maybe every other month, making sure that we maybe do an experience together that isn't on the weekend, and we make a priority to put it during the week and just take a day off, because I think it's really important that I don't let my job be the excuse while I don't plan more things that I value, just because we both work full time. Yeah. I think we can absolutely make it happen, but we just have to plan it and be proactive about it.
Yeah, I'm doing a little self-care on Monday, playing a little golf.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, maybe the last time of the year that we get to play before the weather really turns, but looking forward to that little self-care Monday. I use my well-being day at work.
Very nice.
But yeah, so you use
paper calendar.
Basically a paper calendar,
yes.
which has lovely pictures of Lucille on it. It's a custom calendar, and it's a very nice visual
Thanks,
in the kitchen.
Shutterfly.
Yes. But yeah, that's your preferred method. And, you know, it is nice because it is in the kitchen. It's right in front of the island where we sit down and have meals. So we can walk by it, we can stare at it, you know, see what's going on there. And like you said, you have a nice little visual key on there that shows you what type of events that we are doing. Me, I am more of the technology kind of person, and I've really forced you to use Google Calendar because that's my preferred method for calendars, because I have my phone on me all the time. It's very easy for me to check. I even have like an agenda as one of my widgets that I can, you know, just quickly put my screen to. So this is how I'm really a nerd when it comes to my calendar. And one of the reasons why I love Google Calendar is you have events, but then you also have reminders. And reminders are those things that just kind of pop up. It's not really going to take a chunk of time, but it tells you to do something. So it is kind of task driven. So like, for example, on the 30th and the 31st of the month, or basically the last day of the month, I have a reminder to transfer money from my my mortgage bank account into the checking account because it's going to get taken out on the 1st. I have a reminder every Monday to post the podcast. I have a reminder to take out the trash. You know, even though it's habit now, it's still nice to have that reminder. I have a reminder to call my mom on Wednesdays, you know, when I leave work.
I like that.
So, you know, it's in the calendar a little bit differently, and it just pops up as a little reminder. Hey, you know, you're going to call this person. You can snooze it, you can reschedule it, whatever you need to, but I try to do it when it pops up. I try to be purposeful with the timing that I put it on. So you have reminders, and then I'm able to see your calendar when you put the events in there, and you've been pretty good about doing that.
I try to compromise and use it as much as I can.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate that. And I think, you know, that's going to be even, you know, more critical, like when Lucille starts doing activities and stuff like that. But, you know, we're still a couple of years from that happening. The other thing that I love about Google is that it has the Google Assistant integrated with it. So for me, when I wake up in the morning, they have this thing called routines. So when I shut my alarm clock off, I get like the weather, the traffic, and then what's on my calendar for the day. So like the first thing in the morning, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, this is what I've got going on today. I can start either thinking about that, but that's just me. Like, I like knowing like right when I get up what I have going on today. It kind of helps me dictate my day and you know, get started either quicker or, you know, I can take my time. But I just really love all the different integrations and the way that my schedule is, you know, dictated to me through the calendar.
I like that you have on your calendar, you intentionally plan when you want to connect with your mom.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to keep in touch with specific people. And I find that sometimes I'm just sitting sometimes and I'm like, wow, I haven't talked to this friend in a long time. But if I actually planned and wrote it down on the calendar, like call or text this person and, you know, make it a point to either talk on the phone or to hang out, I think that would be something that I could add, because I find that I forget when's the last time I've connected with somebody face to face, because I don't want to use the excuse that we're parents now and, you know, Lucille's taking up a lot of her time. And that is true, but I think I can do a better job of just making sure that I'm connecting more in person with friends or even calling them. Like it's such an archaic thing to me now, like picking up the phone and calling somebody, but it's like we text all the time, but there's something about picking up the phone and actually hearing their voice.
Yeah.
And I like that you do that a lot.
Yeah. And I schedule it for a time. I have a 45 to 50 minute commute home. So I usually schedule it in the evening when I'm driving home. So it's, you know, it's not a big deal. Like I'm either going to be doing that or listening to a podcast. And, you know, I love connecting with my mom, finding out what they're doing and everything like that. So, you know, I have to have that reminder because sometimes I forget what day of the week it is. So it pops up on Wednesday and I'm just like, oh yeah, I got to call mom. So, you know, it's great. The reminders function is a nice thing. But just in general, like being able to share our calendars, you being able to see, you know, if I have something scheduled, I may forget to tell you something that I've got something going on with somebody else, but you can, you know, look at the schedule if you want to and say, oh, that's why Nick's not home.
Yeah.
He's getting his hair cut.
And another reason why I like my method better of just having like the paper version and having the little key, and you could even color code it. I think that would be even more of a better visual because you could actually color code the whole day. Like yellow means...
I could do that on Google too.
I know, but that's you. That's not me.
I know.
But that also helps me just get a look at so what I have planned, and then just seeing the space. And I love seeing the space.
Yeah.
That's a win-win for me. I love seeing that there are weekends where we have nothing planned. And I really don't want anything to be on there. Like, people are like, oh, what are you doing this week? It's like, I got nothing planned, but that's what I'm really looking forward
that's
to.
what you want to
and
do.
I have to set those boundaries. Like, I have to say no to make that space happen. It's not just, it just happens. I mean, there could be something going on. Like last weekend, I was invited to a baby shower, and I decided not to go because I really needed some space.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really good friend.
Yeah.
It's a good friend of ours, but at the same time, I just said, you know what? I just need some space. I just need some time with you guys, time to myself. And I just said, you know, I'm probably not going to make it. And I felt confident about saying no, because I'm saying yes to things that are going to fill me up. It's not that a baby shower may not have filled me up. I don't know. But I was even more excited for the space. And I think, you know, deep down in your gut what you're really excited about. And I think sometimes we're afraid to just admit it and say,
Right.
and not do everything, and almost feel like I'm a bad friend if I don't go to this. But if they're really your friend, they're going to understand, and they're going to respect you even more that, wow, you know, she knows what she needs to make herself feel better. So I find that I like seeing my calendar filled with things that align to my values, but I also like seeing space. And I like that visual of knowing that, wow, November looks like we have some great experiences going on. It looks like we're going to be hanging out with people. It looks like I have some self-care going on. And it also looks like we have some space just to be. And it makes me super enthusiastic about the month.
Yeah,
and I
we
think,
also have a trip.
I know. And that's another thing. Seeing that visual, it makes you excited about what's to come. So they're not just going through the day-to-day like, oh, I got to work today. Oh, I got to work today. And there's nothing looking forward to. I like seeing that I have acupuncture coming up next week, or I have a girls trip coming up, or I'm going on a date night this night. Like, I love seeing it gives me anticipation and excitement about our life. And I love what that does for me.
Yeah. No, and that's, you know, for me, a calendar has always been like critical. Like, I'm pretty organized. I like to say I'm very organized. But I have to have things. I'm a visual person, and just having that visual there, and you know, keeping the calendar up to date, and you know, when I know of an event or anything like that, you know, I immediately put it on the calendar. I try not to double book, and it doesn't happen very often, because I'm so diligent with that. So, you know, for me, it's about keeping my life simple, less chaotic, and really just utilizing this great tool that has been given to us, the old calendar, and keeping ourselves organized.
And it's something so simple, but it's something so powerful that really helps you give you that aerial view of what does your life look like. How you're spending your month is how you're spending your life.
Yeah.
And I want to add one thing I want to change. I didn't really talk to you about this, but I actually want to add a value to our values.
Let's talk about it.
So I know we value experiences. I know we value family and friends, and I know we value our health. But something else that I'm finding that I'm missing out of our month, at least my month, is growth.
Yeah.
And I know we grow from everything we're doing, but I want to intentionally plan something that's going to make me a little bit uncomfortable more.
Okay.
And it could be a conference. It could be a retreat.
Go to the conference.
It's something that I'm just feeling like I want to grow and feel a little uncomfortable in an area that I'm passionate about. And it could be like a teaching conference, or it could be something related to podcasting, or it could be a yoga retreat that I'm like, I am a horrible yogi, but for some reason, I really just want to try it.
Is that what it's called? A yogi?
I don't know. hey.
Yogurt?
But anyway, I want to start adding intentionally growth to our values, because I want to make it it might not even be monthly, even if it's just starting bi-monthly, to have some kind of activity or something that I'm doing that's going to make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's something that I've always wanted to try, but I've always been scared to do it. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm looking more into my personal and professional development. And I know podcasts give us a lot of education, but there's something about connecting to person to person.
Sure.
And I want to do more of that, but I don't want to sacrifice other things as well. So I'm trying to figure out that balance now, and this is going to be a work in progress. So I will keep you posted on how that works, but that is something that I'm trying to change in my calendar. I want to add more experience, more time for growth.
Jilly will report back on this experiment. Make sure to keep on her on social media. Like, and Jill, when are you attending this conference? Just stay all over her. And motivate her.
I don't know if anyone else is like that. You're like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to go there. And then we talk about it and we don't take action. Well, this is something that I'm like, I see this, I'm making it a plan, I'm saving up for it, and I'm doing it. And I'll communicate with you to make sure if it's overnight or somewhere I have to travel to, that you're okay with it. And then, I'm pumped to try it.
Sounds good to me. Yeah,
Cool.
I've done a couple of those kinds of things. Like there's been certain meetings and stuff that I've gone to. I used to do a lot of like those kinds of growth things when I was really into like the political movement way back in like 2010, 11, 12. Mm-hmm. Like there was like it was a monthly meeting that I would go to, or at least every 2 weeks, something like, I think it was a monthly meeting, but then we would catch up with these guys a little bit later. But it was great because, I got to learn from other people, what their thoughts are on certain things. And it wasn't a group where we argued. Like we actually talked open about different things and learned from each other. And it was a real part of my like growth politically. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I would definitely be down to try that again.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So Jilly, what do we have along the lines of resources?
Our resource today, it's from a blog post. The person who wrote it, her name is Christine, and she's also on
Christineth?
It's Christineth.
When you come into my house, you get my wife's name right. It's Christineth. Sorry. Christina?
Anyway, her name is Christine, not Christina. And her Instagram handle is The Mostly Simple Life. And that's her website too.
Cool.
themostlysimplelife.com. Anyway, she had a blog post that I stumbled upon that was about simplifying your schedule. And she listed, I think it was like 5 ways you could simplify your schedule. And there was one that really spoke to me that I know that I'm still in progress and working on.
Okay.
And that is just learning to say no.
It's a tough one. It's very tough to do.
And she just had a little tidbit on it, and I just wanted to read it because it really resonated with me, and that how it's always going to be a work in progress, just learning how to say no. Anyway, here it goes. Unless you learn to say no, your time will get eaten up with other people's priorities instead of your own. Like everything, it gets easier the more you do it. Remember, saying no means that you can say yes to your priorities and what matters most to you. My version of a simpler life may look very different from yours. The goal is to schedule your time in a way that lines up with your current priorities. To do that, you have to analyze how you're spending your time and think twice before you say yes to adding an activity to your schedule. You'll probably have to say no quite often as well. When you have time to spend with your loved ones and time to spend on activities that matter to you, the effort of simplifying your schedule will be worth it. And that is one thing, the whole think twice before you say yes. Mm-hmm. There is so much power in wait time. I think sometimes we feel rushed to say yes automatically.
I was getting ready to say that, yeah.
But if you just say, you know what, let me think about it and I'll get back to you, it's huge.
Yeah.
Give your time the space.
We've gotten into that thing where if somebody texts you and they don't text you back, it's just like, oh, this person's blatantly ignoring me. But we're not in high school anymore. That's not the case. We all understand that people got stuff going on. We've got families, we've got kids, we got other priorities. And yeah, think about it. If you get the text, put the phone down, give it some thought, and then, if it fills you up, it's what you want, aligns with your values and whatnot, then say yes. But if it doesn't, or if you know that you need some time, to yourself, say no. Politely decline and say, I'll catch up with you next time.
Yeah. So I think that's always something I'm working on, and I love the power of just waiting it out. It's almost like the whole purchasing, instead of just putting it in your cart and buying it. It's like, give yourself that space and time to think, is this something you really need? Is this something that you really want? Or is this just something that you feel like you have to do that instantaneous because it's giving you a jolt of whatever, But yeah, so I just think there's so much, and I've noticed this, saying no means saying yes to what truly isn't brings you that enthusiasm that we want life to be like. We want, at least I do, I want my life to be enthusiastic and I want it to be exciting. And it's not going to be that way if I say yes to everything.
Right.
So I have to make the right no's to have the right yeses.
Well said, Jilly. So what's our take?
Thank you. Thank you, Christine, for letting me share your awesome post.
Yes.
And if check her out on Instagram and read the whole post. It is brief and to the point, and it's very simple. I love it.
Awesome. So what's our take action for our listeners today?
Our take action is to just look at your calendar. Does it align with the person you want to be, how you want to spend your life? And if it's not, start saying no.
And if you don't have a calendar, start using one because
Please,
it'll
yes.
change your life.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Yes, it will.
Your money back.
What?
No one's paying for this podcast.
I was like, what? No,
That's what they all say. Your money back, guaranteed. Anyways. What's the quote of the day,
Oh,
Jilly?
man.
I know, that was bad. Sorry, folks.
The quote of the day is by Courtney Carver. She is a minimalist.
Okay.
She's on Instagram too.
Nice.
Awesome. She's cool to follow.
Show notes.
Show notes. Here's the quote. When you ask me what I'm doing today and I say nothing, it does not mean I'm free. It means I am doing nothing.
That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes. The
Awesome.
power in nothing.
Yeah. Anything else? I think we
No.
cover all the bases. Baseball season's over. Sigh.
Be purposeful with your calendar, folks.
Yes. Anyways, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, why don't you give us a share on social media or go on to your podcast listening platform of choice and give us a 5-star review. We would really appreciate that.
Yes,
and it would help us reach a larger audience. So again, we want to thank you all for listening this week, and we will talk to you again next week.
See you later, guys.
We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us or want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.